Now, everybody always talks about engagement in meetings, and they don't really know what that means in real practical terms. What do you want to do to engage your attendees? Why do we need to engage the attendees? What is our goal for engagement in our meeting, our learning environment, our conference? And so I'm going to just start this out with a little bit of a question. If you look on your devices, you should have a little survey question popping up here in just a second. And how do you know people are paying attention? By the looks on their faces, if they ask or don't ask questions, if they are talking to each other, if they aren't snoring, guilty. And I'm sorry, did you say something? Yeah, that's usually what happens. So engagement is hoping that somebody doesn't say, I'm sorry, did you say something? So I'm going to go ahead and close the survey and see what the results of that is. So if you look at your devices again, you can tell by the looks on their faces. Are they looking up? Are they looking down? Are they talking to each other? Are they asking each other's questions? And this is your typical meeting. This is kind of what I'm doing to you right now. I'm standing at the front of the room, kind of killing you with PowerPoint, and some guy in the back of the room is maybe snoring a little bit. He's, being a little disengaged, as one might say. People are checking their emails. They're wondering if they left their car windows down, if their spouse remembered to pick the kids up from school. We have a lot of stuff vying for our attention, and it's our goal in meetings to make sure that when people walk out, they remember why they were there and what they accomplished when they were there. So what we want to do, and what our goal is by using these types of technologies, not necessarily what's sitting in front of you, but a tool, a combination of tools, we can turn that environment around so that you have people falling from the sky, so that you have some active participants. You have active contributors. There are a lot of very smart people in this room, and we want to know what you're thinking. We want to know what you think about engagement. We want to know what you think about policies. We want to know if you're learning. And there are very easy ways to keep people's attention and to make sure that they're retaining that knowledge, because then you're going to have a meeting that people want to be a part of. They're going to remember what they did there, and you're going to be able to take that information that you collected from them and have provable proof of success. You're going to be able to go back. You're going to have the reporting and the metrics so that you can gauge learning, you can gauge retention, you can find the big idea in the room. And some of the questions that we ask our clients, whether or not they're considering using a technology tool for engagement, is, how much intellectual capital are you leaving in the room by not harnessing the information people have in their brains? And how do you get them to want to contribute that information? And what's the impact of that? Are people going to want to come back to your meeting? Are people going to want to engage in the process when you give them the technology and a comfortable way of sharing what they know? And, what's the impact of that? You do get the retention. You do get the big ideas. You may even have a path forward for your company. You can simply ask the question, what's your biggest challenge in 2014? Instead of saying, what's your biggest challenge in 2014? A, B, C, or D? Well, none of the above, frankly, but you're not giving me a way to comfortably communicate that to you. And what's the value of that information? Does that information contain a monetary value? It does, because as long as you're able to create this dynamic of the moment intelligence, you can, maybe even course correct in the middle of a learning session. Maybe everybody already knows this information. Maybe you can then up the ante a little bit, challenge them. You can increase their retention. If you're doing a marketing event, you can increase brand loyalty simply by asking people what they think of a product or a technology solution, for that matter. Anytime somebody hits a like on Facebook, that's engagement. When somebody pins an interest, That's engagement. If you're a Game of Thrones fan like I am myself, and you watch the show and then you go to the website afterwards and you look at the message boards, that's engagement. People are going to want to share what they know. And to actively do that, there is an attention curve that you have in your meeting. And the Social Times reported in 2011 that the average adult attention span has decreased from 12 minutes to 5 minutes. And that was a decrease since 2008. So now I'm thinking it's probably around 3.5, but just to keep to statistics, you got 5 minutes. How are you going to keep people interested? And what we want to do is kind of interrupt a pattern of not paying attention by challenging you, by asking questions, by finding out what you know, and collecting that information, because that information is valuable to your organization. So every once in a while, we're just going to throw a question in, interrupt that pattern of not paying attention, get people to look away from their email and stop texting the office, because you've taken the time away from your business, you've taken the time away from your families. When you're at these events, you want to make sure that when you walk out of the room that you've retained the information, and that's part of the process of engagement, and that's going to give you a more successful event. The true art of memory. Now, I have another question I'm going to ask you really quickly here. If you look at your devices again, I'm going to pull up another slide very quickly. And why do we hold meetings? That's a really good question. I don't know how many meetings I've gone to that I've sat there and said, okay, why am I here? This doesn't apply to me. What are we doing? And then you leave the room and nothing happens. So, we want to educate, or share a vision, share ideas, network, get opinions, introduce new concepts or products, some of the above or all of the above. So go ahead and put your choices in. Okay. Actually, you know what? This is not unusual. The last session we held, all of the above was the highest response, the percentage. We want to do all of these things in a meeting. And how do we do that? And that's one of the things that technology can help you with. Now, I'm going to ask you one more question. Kyle, can you go ahead and queue up the next question for me, if you would? All right, here we go. What do you think do you think you're engaging your audience is of value? Yes, no, or still not sure? Go ahead and plug in your answers there. Give you a couple more seconds. All right, let's see what the result is. Yes, everybody says yes. Because you can actually take that reporting. It's not just engagement, it's proving that you've engaged your attendees. And the technology allows you to do this. Now we'll go to this last slide here. Okay, the true art of memory is the art of attention. I have the attention span of a flea. I have 5 minutes to get your attention. I talk really fast, and even as fast as I talk, that's not very much time to get your attention. So you want to find out what your delegates know. You want to share fresh ideas. You want to share this industry knowledge and best practices, and you want to make your audience a part of the process, because when they have a part in the process, they have some skin in the game. They feel like their opinions, that their intelligence, that their contributions matter, and you're able to capture that and going to make them want to contribute more. It's going to increase retention of your sessions and your content, and increase loyalty to your organization, or to your product, or to your membership. And then from that, you are going to be able to gain those measurable metrics of events success. It's no longer just the case like it was, when I started doing meetings a bazillion years ago, that our proof of success was how many people showed up and did we stay under budget. Now you actually have to go back to the stakeholders and say, here's what we accomplished. And that's what technology can help you do. And that's it. My colleague Lindsay now is going to come up here and share what you can do with this data and why this information is of value to your organization.